So we are live. We are live on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We've started to kick off again with our live sessions where we bring real stories, people from different backgrounds or with different backgrounds who are there to inspire us, to share with us their stories. And we always hope, and we've also heard from our past live sessions that people are able to connect, people are able to benefit from the live session. So I'm very, very honored. My name is Caroline Mwangi. I'm the co-founder of the Edge Career Hub. It's a community for Kenyan professionals and students in Germany. And we are trying to inform each other, to mentor each other, and also to create linkages between Germany and our home country, Kenya, to see what we can do either here or back home. So thank you so much. We're very happy to have Hillary. Is interesting background. Thank you so much. To Hesabu from the finance. And he said he's willing to share his story with us to encourage someone out there. And especially the fact that he studied in another European country and managed to get into the job market in Germany with a German company. Karibu sana, Hillary. Let us know who is Hillary. Where are you right now? And yes.
Thank you so much, Carol. So as you heard, my name is Hillary Beth, and I am currently in Berlin. And yeah, been in Germany now for almost 4 years. Thanks for your warm welcome and introductory speech for us.
And I forgot to mention, Hillary also has a company. He will let us know about that because we're also here to help each other grow. And I personally believe if you help someone to grow, you're also growing, because that is the only way we can build networks. So let us take us back to Kenya. You went to where you went to study and why you decided to do actuarial science. It's a new, interesting career, and you need to have a lot of mathematics. So just take us back and let us know why actuarial science, and then how you decided now to go to Hungary and finally to Berlin.
Yeah, so I finished my high school back in 2009. And that was the time when actuarial science was like the booming, the thing after engineering and medicine. And I had a good grade in high school, I would say. So for me, since high school, I was really, really in love with mathematics. When I was a kid, I actually wanted to be a pilot, as everyone has a dream when you are a kid. So yeah, but life happens and you have to choose a path. When you grow and become more responsible, you realize you have to take some path. So because I loved mathematics, I ventured into actuarial science, and I joined my undergraduate degree back in 2011 in September, and graduated in 2015. Yeah, and I passed my undergraduate in actuarial science. And so after that now, so science, actuarial science is, in a nutshell, mathematics, statistics, computer programming, and finance. So finance and accounting, let's say. So it gives you like core knowledge of these activities. And as you know, Kenya is not an easy market to get a job immediately. So the disadvantage that we got was that when we were graduating in 2015, so actually in 2009 and 2010 group were combined to join university in 2011 and 2012. So I remember I had to join in September, and I finished my high school in 2009, and the 2010 guys joined in January in some of the universities. So the disadvantage we had was like the market was flooded, of course, when we graduated. And it was really not easy to find a job. And this is when I decided, so I was looking for scholarships. Every time I was just looking online for something that would make me get for a scholarship. So first of all, I wanted a master's scholarship in actuarial science. because this is something that I did. And I was really focused, or say, to the English speaking countries, especially the UK, because actuarial science in Kenya, actually you can be able to do IFOA papers. This is our actuarial papers. For you to be, actually there's a difference between an actuary, yeah, and somebody who has started BSc actuarial science, because you have to do, I think, 17 papers to be called really a fella in actuary, so like complete actuarial. So, but I ventured to decide on looking on the financial part, because I did a CPA in the meanwhile, and I decided to go in the finance. And when I was looking for scholarship, now I decided to broaden my let's say my scope, because when you really say I want to go to this country, it becomes really narrow, and it's very hard for you to get that specific. So I got like and I got like conditional offers. For example, for UK, University of Kent, I applied for University of Manchester. There were a couple of universities that had applied, but it was really restricted. And when I just decided to broaden my scope, this is when now I got the opportunity to look at MSc Finance. So when I was looking for a scholarship, I was looking for MSc Finance scholarship anywhere, right? So it's not like specifically to UK, specifically to US or Australia, but I was just looking for MSc in Finance. And lucky enough, I got this scholarship, Nasdaq OMX scholarship. This was offered in Central European University. And the advantage also was that it is a dual degree with NYU Stern University in the US. So Nasdaq is actually an over-the-counter market in the US. And they were offering this full scholarship. And that's how I ended up first in Europe. So actually it was very strange for everyone. Everybody doesn't know Budapest or Hungary. They don't know if it's a country or a city. But I got that opportunity to come to Europe back in 2017.
Oh, wow. Actually, what I love about your story is, people think of UK, US, and now Germany is becoming familiar with time because of the low tuition fee. But as you said, there are many other opportunities, and Hungary is a beautiful city. I've been to Budapest, and I went to Kubanya Kispest. I think it's a train station.
Right.
and I loved their meals. Of course, it's still difficult for let me say, if you're from the African continent trying to fit into the East European countries. But I think your mindset is different. You seem to have a very positive drive, and you're like, this is where I'm heading to. So you're in Budapest, Hungary, you're on a scholarship, and then you finish, and then you're in Berlin. Or how did you decide, I want to move to Berlin? Or how did you manage to transit to Berlin?
So actually, it's an interesting story. So I studied so my master's was, let's say, 1 year, 1.5 years, and you had an option of defending your thesis after your 1 year, or you take an extra 6 months before you graduate, you present your thesis. And I opted for the first option. Like, let me squeeze myself within the 10 months and present my thesis and finish, like, get over with it. And it was really interesting because it was really, I'll say, really needed dedication, really needed your time. It was different from the way I studied before. A lot of pressure, a lot of activities and there. And and I had a plan. I knew that it's going to be like my scholarship. The thing is, my scholarship was exactly 10 months and an extension of 2 more months. So I knew I only have January to December to make a decision. So whether to go back home to get to get a PhD, or to do another master's, or to start working. And so because I was new in Europe, and I talked with a couple of people who have been here, I have my mentors here, and they gave me an idea. Like, the person is a professor or a doctor. So they gave me, like, here in Europe, you have to decide your path. Like you either decide to go to academia or you go to the corporate world, right? So you can decide to go to academia. This is when you go to your PhD, you do your papers, call of papers and all this, like you write articles and all that. Or you go to the corporate world where you do your probation period, you finish and you go to work and that's it. Yeah, you raise ranks and all that. So I was between the hard rock when I was making decision, because at the same time I want to get this, at the same time I want to start working because I need money. And here you see that you're going to be an asset. So during my, like after my undergraduate, so we have this we in our university we have career department where they could be able to help you write a good CV, a cover letter. They help you also provide links of opportunities in Budapest, especially from big companies like Morgan Stanley, Citibank, BlackRock, Exxonmobil, for example. Yeah, so they gave us this kind of opportunities. So when I was doing my thesis or my capstone field project, I created an Excel sheet whereby I was having now ideas like I have to do another master's, I have to do a PhD, or I have to work. So I had 3 sheets in my Excel sheet. So I was applying for masters at the same time, another master's. Yeah, I wanted to do data analytics masters, of course, because I did actuarial science. And I was applying for PhD now in finance. So, and I was having my work sheet also. So I was trying everything possible, but because I was thinking also about Kenya, how will I go back and set up everything up. So luckily enough, I was applying for jobs in Budapest. And before that was in November, actually, before my scholarship, because my scholarship was ending like in a month's time, I got a job with Exxonmobil, and I was supposed to start in April. So the challenge was, how am I going to survive for the 4 months without a job? Because now you're waiting for the job, and at the same time you might have a remainder of your money. There is no stipend that's coming every month now, and you have to see how much you have. So I opted to go back to Kenya. I talked to the agent and I opted to go back to Kenya because I thought my money was not enough for me to survive for the 4 months. So I went back to Kenya. They sent me the residence permit. They sent to me via post Kenya. Then I came back to Hungary.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for Exxonmobil for 3 months. That was from April till June. I graduated, and when I was already there, I started applying so I had a goal. I know East Europe is not like the best and stable economically. I would say the Hungarian forint is even weaker than the Kenyan shilling, to be honest. So I had already in my mind a goal that I want to go to West Europe. So I was having in mind like Switzerland, Netherlands, and Germany. And I was applying for jobs in these 3 countries. And luckily enough, in June, I got a position to start I worked for BASF. So they gave me a contract to start working from October 2018 here in Germany.
So you're chasing 3 goals at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yes.
Lovely, because actually we keep telling people, don't chase one goal. Yeah? If you can, like, chase as many as possible, but of course have priorities. That is priority 1, 2, and 3. And let me take you back to Hungary. Like, how is it? What is the study life for students? Because sometimes we have people who would like to go to Hungary to either do the undergraduate or their master programs, and they really don't know the structures. And like, if you compare Germany and Hungary, I'm sure they don't charge so much money, or they don't. One of the requirements is in Germany, you need to have the blocked account with 1 million. And how is it like in Hungary? Before now we go to how do we position ourselves in applying for these jobs? Because I think some people feel they don't have the skills, they don't have the language, they're not in the IT field, etc., etc. Two questions.
Yeah. So first of all, I think Hungary is one of the best, I would say, in terms of the job market. First of all, they look at the foreigners most of the time in these big companies. Why? Because they have this rule of inclusion. So you have the highest opportunity because you are the minority, right? So you get the minority aspect of being chosen as part of the job market. And the second question now is about university. So I was studying in a private university, which was created, and it's part of the NYU Stern University in the US. So for me, our university was one of the universities where it was almost like 100% you'll get a job in Budapest, because most of the international companies were coming to the university in order to get the students there. And in terms of public universities, of course, I had a couple of friends who are studying in these public universities in Hungary, and they were getting this Hungaricum stipendium, it's called. This is the government scholarship given to the students. I think back then they were giving 50 students in Kenya every year. I think the number has increased now to be, I think this is what I've heard. And when you go there, I'll tell you, number one, you have the opportunity, you can get a job as fast as possible. Number two, you get a good environment to study, because Hungarian universities have very good, also good quality kind of education, with good professors as well. And number three, I think it now depends on the discipline that you're going to study at, because I don't know if you study gender studies and if you study finance. So it depends on which one are you in and the probability of you getting that job or
Mm-hmm.
to the job market.
Mm-hmm. So you speak some Hungarian. What is it
Yeah,
called?
just a bit of it, because it's the most difficult language that I've ever seen in the world. Yeah, it's hard. Like, good morning is Jonaport, good evening is, I don't know, good morning is Yoregelt, in the evening is Jonaport. Thank you is I don't even remember some of them. So a bit of a hard language compared to German, where you just have notes. But this one, you have so many connotation or notations of the annotations of the letters. So it's
Okay. Even their letters, their alphabets, they are also a bit strange. Like you need to have an apostrophe and I don't know
yeah,
what here and
right.
there. But it's an interesting country. So if you'd like to travel kidogo, go to Budapest, wonderful city. And also, like, they have a lot of museums. They're very good in medicine. I think we went to one of the founders of I don't know, the medicine field. There's a little museum there. So a bit of history just for you to get the exposure and have that mindset to to open your eyes. So Hilary, we have people who are like now they come here, they do their masters, they finish, they're like, ay, it's so difficult to get into the job market in Germany. And of course, with the notion that you have not studied here, or you have studied here, you don't speak the language, you don't have work experience, because the Germans are very keen on skills and Berufserfahrung or work experience. What helped you to even to join such a big fish? I mean, BASF is not a small company, yeah. And of course, actuarial scientists, the demand is good, but I'm sure you had some drive, or you had some, like strategies on how to join to the job market and fit in.
Yeah, so first of all, I would say put God first in everything. Just pray about it. That's where now everything will open up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Second of it all is that I know people here have different kind of experiences that you might have. You might have, I don't know, like a vocational experience, I don't know, how do we call this, the volunteering, yeah, volunteering experience that you might have. What they really look at is the gaps. And your CV, I know most of us, of course, maybe in Kenya you didn't work or whatever that happened, or you had a gap, like I didn't do something here, and then I did some freelance work and stuff like this. I think what they look at is, what do you bring into the table? It's not about like having complicated mathematics in your mind and all these kind of things. They just look at this personality. They just look at this things that they can bring into the table. So let's say you did a volunteer job of, I don't know, collecting, let's say collecting rubbish or stuff in the community. So they know that you're a team person. You can work as a team. You're a leader somewhere, or you produce something. So what I would advise people is, the first thing is your CV. Work on your CV, that you write your CV the way it is, like, even though it's a gap and you did something, just say it there, even though it was a freelance. Second thing, I learned one important thing. You have to do a lot of self-learning yourself. So some of the skills that I have myself is from self-learning. We have this LinkedIn learning, we have Udemy, we have Coursera, we have so many online sites where you can learn stuff. So the most important thing is equip yourself with whatever you think that's gonna go right into your path, and learn this and put them in the CV. Yeah, because if you do something in the LinkedIn learning, you will get certification at the end of it all. If you do something in Udemy, you will get certification. So just mention that you have this. And third is, once you're here, when you come to this country, like, already you should have a goal. You should focus and say, okay, I'm going to be here. My residence permit is saying I'm supposed to be here for a year. Don't wait until it is the 8th month and then you're like, now what should I do? My time is gone. I should focus now, or I should look for something to do. So first of all, start focusing as soon as you are in this country. Start venturing, start getting to know what is needed for you to achieve the goal. So if you want to be, for example, a financial controller like me, you have to learn, okay, what is needed there? They need MS Excel, they need some Power BIs, they need some Power Automate. You see these companies, they put on the description, right? So you can read the description and know, okay, what are the skills that I need to equip myself with? And then you have to make sure that by the 9th month or the 10th month, you are already qualified with this knowledge. And then already, like, as I know that most of the people could apply for a full-time job, as for example, me, when you are in your final semester or when you're doing your thesis. So this is possible that you can apply for a job, and then by the time even you are supposed to your time is gone, you already have the skills. The advantage even here in Germany, you have this called student seeking visa. This is even an advantage. It's not in all the countries. In Hungary, there is nothing like that. So that's why you have that opportunity to do this yourself.
Excellent tips. Maybe you can, talking about skills, maybe you could highlight some of the skills that you've managed to, especially the self-taught ones, so that at least people in this Zoom meeting or watching us on YouTube can also maybe set that as goals to acquire some of these tools. You just never know.
So yeah, the skills are very important. So for example, I myself, so one of the things also is, if you join a company or if you're in a company, don't lay your head and be complacent. Yeah, it's called complacency. You lay your head and say, I'm comfortable. Don't stay there thinking that now I am here, I have everything. This is where you get your platform to build yourself for the next step. Mm-hmm. So for example, companies have premiums, like for example, LinkedIn premium in many companies. You have this opportunity to explore whatever you want. So for me, for example, I would use LinkedIn to learn a lot of things myself. I would say a lot of things that I've learned myself came from this LinkedIn Learning and Udemy. Udemy you have to pay, but this was for my own. So the best thing is you have to develop yourself. Avoid being in a comfort zone. Most of the time people keep knowing, okay, I have unlimited contract with a company, so I'm comfortable. No, in life you have to give yourself a challenge. The next step, what do I need to do by next year, by 2 years, in 3 years time? You should be able to build yourself.
Wow. Very convincing remarks. Very, indeed, very convincing. And I remember like some of the companies I've also worked with, I took the advantage of checking. Some of them, they have even free tools that you can use. And I remember, like, when I was doing my internship, I knew that I would need a lot of Excel. So I bought a book for Excel and I went through it. And funny enough, when I started, my boss loved all those Excel, like conditional formatting, and any assignment he gave you, he needed to see some conditional formatting somewhere. And now you see, we've never done anything like that. It's a very simple Excel form, whatever. And if you don't know it, luckily I had my book, Excel book, which I still have up to now. And I just flipped through. So it's just acquire as much as possible. And some of these self-taught tools, they even give you the drive even to go higher and higher. Right now, I'm working also a lot with data analysis, and I'm going to teach myself SPSS, and it's never too late to learn. You just keep learning.
Right.
Wow. You have your own company? Before we go to the Q&A session, or a parting shot, tell us about your company, what you do, and then we can talk to future students and professionals who would like to follow your path. They're like, that is the same route I want to pass. Of course, I'm not doing the same, but I'm sure you have some tips for them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write the domain, and then people can be seeing as well as I talk about it. So I put it in the chat. So this is a company I started. I'm the co-founder. We are 3 guys. I, Titus, and Alex. We started this company. So the main thing, if you see in our services, is so for me, I am more of the finance part of it, and the other guys are more IT oriented people. So we provide e-learning solutions using Moodle, Totara, and WordPress and custom LMS. Software development, doing a UI and UX design, mobile application development, web application development, quality assurance, system audit, and database development. We also do a lot of cybersecurity. This is very, very important, especially when you're doing, I think most of you pay some stuff online or stuff like this. We also conduct this kind of things. So in a nutshell, we can create a website for you. We can connect your website, or we can connect your, let's say if you have your company or whatever you're doing, we can connect it to the payment connections with other like Visa or this kind of payment providers. Yeah. And we ensure that security is kept, because everybody is concerned with that. And we also provide fintech. So so say my thesis, I did a thesis on fintech. So as you know, this is the new evolution of the market right now. You don't have to walk into the bank anymore to get your money. Mostly you can just have the online banking to do your activities. So this is what the fintech is doing. So fintech stands for financial technology, and it is a very wide thing. We have a lot of activities there: trading, we have insurance activities, we have banking services, we have risk management. So this is my field. And so as we started the company, we are going to give also this kind of activities and financial consultancy, apart from the IT aspect of it, because this is, if you're requiring a company, you will need an end-to-end process, and an end-to-end process requires several activities or several setups in order to ensure that it's a full company which is having everything, taking into consideration security and the GDPR laws, which are, for example, in Europe. I mean, in the US, it's a different market, it's an open market. But here in Europe, we have the GDPR law. You have to take into consideration that you have to accept or consent for something to be done for you, especially dealing with the personal information. So this is very important. So you guys, you're welcome to give us work to do. Like, we can create an e-learning site for you. We can, if you require an app for your phone or for your company, something that dealing is going to deal with some activities that you need, as long as you give us the information and how you want it, then we're going to do this. And so feel free to contact us with the information. And the company is registered in Kenya, so I need to say this. The reason why we started with Kenya, because we know the market in Kenya mostly, but we are still doing research, of course, with the German, but it's a bit complicated in Europe because of the regulatory policies that are already in Europe. It's a bit challenging, but we'll get there with more information.
I totally agree. Yes, I think all the very best with your company. Definitely, we will distribute it everywhere, and people should take support each other. Before we do the closing remark, we forgot to mention that yes, you can come here and work in companies that use English as an official language. Yeah, but we're not saying that you should not learn the language. Maybe talk about KWS. What does the company do? What do you do right now? And but also emphasize on the need to learn the German language as much as you're very comfortable using language in your company.
Yeah, I'd say this. For me, I would say I came to German with zero language skills. Yeah, with zero German. And I mean, it was a little bit comfortable for me. You know, you don't have to learn German. You're just comfortable. You communicate with the colleagues in English and all that. I would say German language skills learning is very important. Why? You might not require to use it in your job, but you will require to use it outside here. And it's very, very important, especially when you're going to the authorities here. You won't go in with you won't be, for the first time when I went there, I needed a proxy, like I needed somebody else who could able to translate for me. But with time, you know, you have to really get into it, that you can feel confident communicating yourself. And especially authorities, at some point you have to go to the authorities, whether you're changing an apartment, whether you are, I don't know, your residence permit has to be extended. Like, you can't be always asking someone to go with you. So you will need this. Even the basic information, like you need to buy something in the supermarket, of course, you have to speak with them. And it's also like, how do we call the CSR, yeah, corporate social responsibility. It's very important that you integrate to the community wherever you go and fit into the system. So this is very important. Secondly, I'm working for KWS now as a financial controller, and we do a lot of costing activities. So we monitor the costs and the income, and we do a lot of investment activities. So as you know, big companies, they have sites, or they have assets whereby they need to monitor the calculation of depreciation of a lot of assets that they have. We are doing also what we call, because the company is dealing with a lot of agricultural products, so they are doing like R&D, research and development. So we have employees who are working there. We are the ones who are checking, okay, was the salary given? Was the salary not given? How much is it for them that should be given out? And also, we are a global company, so we also contribute to the consolidation of the financial report. So the company reputation also depends on us, that we have to have financial, let's say, the financial amounts should also follow the tax rules, regulations for the local authorities, for example, Russia or whatever, they're having their own special local rules, and we have to ensure that we follow this up.
So I was just looking for the company website, but I can drop it later on. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting that and even giving us a background of what you're doing. And if anyone is interested, they'll definitely get in touch. Maybe you could drop your LinkedIn and maybe, and the people in, I think in the WhatsApp group, in the Zoom session are also in the WhatsApp group, so they'll definitely find you. My last question is, of course, you said initially like actuarial science is difficult for young people to get jobs on the continent. And so what is your opinion? Because I keep saying, well, not all of us should leave the country and come here. And some of them are actually trying to create those opportunities on the ground. Yeah, I recently met a Kenyan lady working remotely for a German company in Kenya. And I've also met someone else also working as a computer scientist, working remotely for the Silicon Valley back home. Others are coming up with their own solutions. I think we just need to think broadly. What is your opinion about that?
My opinion is like, it's like you have to have a goal. You have to have a specific goal for yourself. And I would say it's not a must for you to come here in order to make it. And again, if you have the goal of coming here in order to make something, then you can. So I would say, or I would advise that the goal or the achievement that you want to do yourself should be the first thing or the first step that you have to do. So we know that the job market in Kenya is very hard. Yeah. And I think there are so many things that you can do. So if you are more like an entrepreneurial person, you can already start a business. You can already start a company. You can already start something for yourself. If you are more like you want to do academia, right? This is when now you can start venturing into looking for scholarships, looking for this kind of getting out now to get more knowledge. Yeah. And if you're already come here and you already have a goal to achieve something, of course we are also helping the community at home, but if you also want, like, this is your goal, this is your calling, then you can go back and already use this kind of knowledge and skills to the society back at home.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, asante sana. I hope I did not forget on anything. Your parting shot, and of course also speak to young students and professionals from the Kenyan community in Germany who might be watching your story and they're like, when will I ever get there? I have 3 more semesters, I have 4 more semesters, I am struggling financially, I don't know how I'm going to make it. Personally, you will make it. Just give it time. It's difficult, but it is worth. Keep your budget low. Let me hear from your point of view. What do you think? Should they, like put in their small apartment rooms on the walls, everywhere on the door?
Yeah, I think I put a quote already there. They should copy this and put somewhere. You have to already, for you to ride a bike, you have to just maintain the balance. Otherwise, you're gonna fall down. So I would say number one, I'd just say number one, put God first in everything that you do. That's number one, at least. Number two, if you're a student, put your goals and you should read them every day, every morning. It should remind you, because we really have this kind of, in our heads, we always have the complacency. So it should remind you that you are going to achieve something. This is what you want. And I would advise that you split your achievements into slots. Like, I want to achieve this week. I want to achieve this month. I want to achieve this, and make it reasonable. Yeah, don't say I want to make 1 million in 1 month, right? Just make it reasonable. Say I'm going to save 20 euros every week. That is at least achievable. For you to achieve or to reach a goal, you have to put it in pieces. And I would advise, if you're a student, save as much as possible. There is an aspect of spending sparingly, yeah. Especially you see there Angebot, yeah, this discount 50%. But when you see the original price and the Angebot itself, and you look at that price last year, it's almost the same thing. So there is that aspect of spending or using unnecessarily. So when you're a student, I know most of the students, for example, I was receiving 800 euros, I think, for example. And it's really when you don't have responsibilities, you don't have anything to do, you spend that money. I would advise you this. That money will help you towards the end, because this scholarship that you are under or this education that you are in is only for a period. Just plan and think, what if anything happens towards the end of the period? How am I going to survive? Or how am I going to make it to the next step? So I would say the much as you can, just save as much as you can while you're still a student. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. I think everyone can see how motivated and positive minded you are, and also God-fearing, because I also do the same. I put God first. I decided the God that I know, whether people believe in that God here or not, I still keep that God because it has helped me to stay sane in this country. And thank you so much for your story. And thank you for having you and for winning a mentor. We'll definitely put up your bio on the website where people can get in touch with you. There's a way we can like attach your LinkedIn profile through the website, and they can get in touch with you and maybe hopefully give you some business, and you can mentor some. You've done already quite. I've sent you a few people to mentor. So asante sana on the behalf of the AG Career Hub community and the Kenyan community in Germany. Yeah, so I think we will open up the session for anyone with a question.
So
you want to say something? Sorry.
Something.
Okay, sorry.
So, for those people who are working, or for those people who already already have, we are here in Europe, we are here in Germany. Issues come here and there. You have your finances, save, yeah, you've kept your money, you think I've saved like this. Then unasikia ng'ombe zote zimevunjika miguu Kenya, and you have to help them out, you know. And that's the money that you're going to send it to them. As we know here, it's not, compared to the US, it's different. Where US you can do, I don't know, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, nobody cares because of the capitalistic nature. Here you know that, okay, I have this salary for this month and you have to take care of it. So I would say, if you are in Nuremberg, we had a session, and there was this Vermögenberatung presentation made by Elis, and there is this QR, and I would say, you can get in touch to me. We do also financial consultancy, you know, like if you need any questions about how to deal, because you can see the percentage of how much you need to save. Yeah, and you can keep it as a discipline for you. So you can already get in touch to me, and I can also help you in that if you have any questions, or you can directly contact Edith.
Super, very nice tip, because sometimes we really get stranded and we're like, will I get out of this financial mess? But there's always a way out. Asante sana. So let me stop the live session, and then we can have any